December 10th, 2008, 7:30 a.m. New York City. Bernie Madoff looked at his two sons across the kitchen table. He had called them to his Manhattan penthouse, told them it was urgent, told them they needed to talk. What he was about to say would destroy their lives. "The investment business," he said quietly, "is one big lie." His sons stared at him, confused. "Basically," he continued, "a giant Ponzi scheme. $65 billion, nearly 50 years, 4,800 victims." Bernard Lawrence Madoff had just confessed to running the largest Ponzi scheme in human history, and within 24 hours the entire world would know. This is The Fraud Files. And this is the story of how a respected Wall Street chairman stole $65 billion and got away with it for nearly half a century. Bernard Madoff was born in 1938 in Queens, New York. The son of Polish and Romanian immigrants, middle-class family, public school education. Nothing about his childhood suggested he would become the most infamous fraudster in history. In 1960, at age 22, Bernie started his own investment firm with $5,000 he'd saved from working as a lifeguard and installing sprinkler systems. Bernard L. Madoff Investment Securities. It started small, very small. He traded penny stocks, over-the-counter securities that bigger firms ignored. But Bernie had an advantage. He was an early adopter of computer technology and trading. In the 1970s, when most of Wall Street still used paper and telephones, Bernie was using computers to execute trades faster and cheaper. He became so successful and so respected that he helped create the NASDAQ stock exchange. He served as chairman of the NASDAQ board of directors. He advised the Securities and Exchange Commission on market regulations. By the 1980s and 90s, Bernie Madoff was Wall Street royalty. Respected, trusted, connected. He sat on charity boards. He donated millions to causes. He lived in a Manhattan penthouse, owned homes in the Hamptons and Palm Beach, kept a yacht in the French Riviera. But there was a secret that would destroy thousands of lives. Everything, the wealth, the reputation, the charitable donations, all of it was built on a lie. A lie that started in the 1960s and grew until it became the biggest fraud in financial history. Before we go further, you need to understand exactly what a Ponzi scheme is and how it works. Because Bernie Madoff didn't invent the Ponzi scheme, but he perfected it. The scheme is named after Charles Ponzi, an Italian immigrant who ran a famous fraud in Boston in 1920. But the mechanics are simple. Step 1. You tell investors you have a special investment strategy that generates consistent, high returns. Maybe you claim you're trading stocks with a secret algorithm. Maybe you say you're investing in rare opportunities. The details don't matter. What matters is the promise. Give me your money and I'll make you rich. Step 2. Early investors give you their money. Let's say 10 people each invest $100,000. You now have $1 million. Step 3. You don't actually invest the money. Instead, you keep it. But you send those 10 investor statements showing they earned 10% returns. On paper, their $100,000 is now $110,000. Step 4. Those investors are thrilled. They tell their friends and family, "This Bernie Madoff is a genius. I made 10% in 1 year." More people invest. Step 5. New investor money is used to pay the returns to earlier investors. It's not real profit. It's just moving money from new investors to old investors. But as long as more money keeps coming in than going out, the scheme continues. Step 6. Eventually something breaks. Either too many people want to withdraw their money at once, or not enough new money comes in. The pyramid collapses, and everyone loses everything. This is exactly what Bernie Madoff did. Except he did it for 48 years. He fooled some of the smartest investors in the world, and he stole $65 billion. Here's how. Nobody knows exactly when Bernie Madoff started the Ponzi scheme. Some investigators believe it started as early as the 1960s. Others think it began in the 1970s or 80s. What we know is this. At some point, Bernie started making promises he couldn't keep. He told investors his strategy generated incredibly consistent returns, 10 to 12% per year, every year, no matter what. Stock market crash, Bernie's clients still made 10%. Recession, 10%. Boom times, 10%. In the real world, this is impossible. No legitimate investment strategy generates consistent double-digit returns every single year. But Bernie had something most fraudsters don't have: credibility. He was chairman of NASDAQ. He testified before Congress about market regulations. He had a legitimate, profitable trading business. When Bernie Madoff told you he had a special strategy, you believed him. And he was selective about who he allowed to invest. You couldn't just call Bernie Madoff and ask to invest. You needed an introduction, a referral from an existing client. This created exclusivity, prestige. People felt lucky to invest with Bernie. Bernie primarily recruited from the Jewish community, his own community. Country clubs, synagogues, charity boards. He built trust through shared identity and social connections. If your friend at the country club was making 10% with Bernie, you wanted in too. And once you invested, Bernie sent you professional-looking statements every month, showing your gains, showing his trades. Everything looked legitimate, but it was all fake. The money wasn't being invested. It was sitting in Bernie's bank account at Chase Manhattan Bank. And he was using it to fund his lavish lifestyle: penthouse apartments, beach homes, yachts, private jets, all purchased with stolen money. And for decades, nobody questioned it. Looking back, the red flags were everywhere. Red flag number 1, the returns were too consistent. In the real market, even the best hedge funds have bad years. But Bernie's returns? Almost perfectly flat, 10 to 12%. Year after year after year. This is statistically impossible with legitimate trading. Red flag number 2, the strategy made no sense. Bernie claimed he used a strategy called split strike conversion, a complex options trading approach. Financial experts analyzed this strategy. They ran the numbers, and they concluded this strategy cannot possibly generate Bernie's reported returns. The math doesn't work. Red flag number 3, he used a tiny, unknown accounting firm. Bernie Madoff Investment Securities managed billions of dollars. Who audited his books? A 3-person accounting firm operating out of a small office in suburban New York. Legitimate billion-dollar investment firms use major accounting firms: Deloitte, PricewaterhouseCoopers, KPMG. Bernie used a firm with 3 employees, including a 78-year-old semi-retired accountant. Red flag number 4, secrecy. Bernie's investment advisory business operated on a separate floor from his legitimate trading business. Employees weren't allowed on that floor. Even his own sons, who worked at the firm, weren't allowed to see the investment records. Everything was locked away. And perhaps the biggest red flag of all? Someone tried to warn everyone, multiple times, for nearly a decade, and nobody listened. Meet Harry Markopolos, a financial analyst and fraud investigator from Boston. In 1999, Harry's boss asked him to analyze Bernie Madoff's strategy. The boss wanted to replicate Madoff's incredible returns. Harry spent 4 hours analyzing the numbers, and he concluded, this is impossible, this is fraud. Markopolos later testified, it took me 5 minutes to figure out it was a fraud. It took me another 4 hours to prove it mathematically. In 2000, Harry Markopolos sent his findings to the Securities and Exchange Commission. He provided detailed evidence, mathematical proof, specific allegations. The SEC did nothing. In 2001, he submitted more evidence. Nothing. In 2005, he submitted a detailed report titled, "The World's Largest Hedge Fund is a Fraud." Nothing. In 2007, he tried again. Still nothing. For 8 years, Harry Markopolos begged the SEC to investigate Bernie Madoff. He handed them everything they needed to shut down the fraud. He estimated Bernie had stolen $30 to $50 billion. And the SEC ignored him. The SEC did conduct some reviews of Madoff's firm, but they were superficial. They accepted Bernie's explanations. They didn't dig deeper. They didn't demand to see the actual trading records. Why? Some investigators believe the SEC was intimidated by Bernie's reputation and connections. Others think they simply didn't understand the fraud. Whatever the reason, they failed. And the fraud continued for another 8 years, until the biggest financial crisis in 80 years brought everything crashing down. September 2008, Lehman Brothers collapses. The stock market crashes. The global financial system is melting down. And Bernie Madoff has a serious problem. His investors are panicking. They're pulling their money out of everything, trying to move to cash and safety. In the previous year, Bernie had redemption requests for $7 billion. But Bernie doesn't have $7 billion. He doesn't have any money. It's all gone, spent on his lifestyle, used to pay earlier investors, stolen. Bernie tried everything. He begged wealthy clients to invest more money. He offered higher returns. He called in favors. But it wasn't enough. By December 2008, Bernie was facing $7 billion in redemption requests, and he had less than $300 million in his bank account. The mathematics were inescapable. He couldn't pay. The game was over. In early December, Bernie told his wife Ruth what he'd done. The investment business was a fraud. Everything was fake. They were going to lose everything. Ruth was devastated, but Bernie still hadn't told his sons. On December 10th, Bernie called his sons Mark and Andrew to his apartment. He told them the truth. The business was one big lie. A giant Ponzi scheme. He estimated he'd stolen $50 billion. The real number would turn out to be $65 billion. His sons were shocked, horrified. They left the apartment immediately, and they called a lawyer. The next morning, December 11th, 2008, FBI agents arrested Bernard Madoff at his Manhattan penthouse. He was 70 years old, and his fraud had finally been exposed. When FBI agents arrived, Bernie reportedly said, "I know why you're here." He didn't resist, didn't deny anything. He admitted everything immediately. The charges? 11 federal felonies including securities fraud, investment advisor fraud, mail fraud, wire fraud, money laundering, false statements, perjury. On March 12, 2009, Bernie Madoff pleaded guilty to all charges. No trial, no defense, just a guilty plea. The judge asked him, "Are you in fact guilty of these crimes?" Bernie responded, "Yes, I am." On June 29, 2009, Judge Denny Chin sentenced Bernard Madoff to the maximum possible penalty, 150 years in federal prison. Judge Chin stated, "The fraud here was staggering. The breach of trust was massive. I simply cannot find any reason to be lenient." Bernie was 71 years old. He would die in prison. But the sentencing couldn't undo the damage. 4,800 victims. Retirees who lost their entire life savings. They had to go back to work in their 70s and 80s. Charities that had to close their doors. The Elie Wiesel Foundation for Humanity lost $15 million. Celebrities and wealthy investors who lost millions. Steven Spielberg, Kevin Bacon, Kira Sedgwick, Sandy Koufax, Zsa Gabor. But the most heartbreaking victims were ordinary people. Teachers who had been saving for retirement. Widows living on their late husband's pension. People who had trusted Bernie because their friends and neighbors trusted Bernie. One victim testified, "I worked for 40 years and saved every penny. Now I have nothing. I'm 73 years old and I'm starting over from zero." Another said, "Bernie Madoff didn't just steal our money. He stole our future, our security, our dignity. Some victims couldn't bear the loss. At least 4 investors committed suicide after learning their savings were gone. Bernie's own son, Mark, hanged himself in his apartment on December 11, 2010, exactly 2 years after his father's arrest. He left a note saying he couldn't live with the shame. The Madoff family was destroyed. Bernie's wife, Ruth, lost everything, lives in obscurity. His surviving son, Andrew, died of cancer in 2014. His brother, Peter, went to prison for 10 years. The fraud didn't just steal money. It destroyed lives, families, futures, all because of one man's greed. So what happened to the $65 billion? The truth is, most of it never existed. Remember, in a Ponzi scheme, there are no real investments, no real profits. The $65 billion represents the total amount investors thought they had based on their fake statements. A court-appointed trustee, Irving Picard, has been working since 2008 to recover whatever money can be found. As of 2024, approximately $17.5 billion has been recovered. Some came from seizing Bernie's properties, the Manhattan penthouse, the beach homes, the yacht. Some came from clawing back money from early investors who had withdrawn more than they put in. Some came from settlements with banks and financial institutions that should have spotted the fraud. Victims have received partial compensation. Some have gotten 70 to 80% of their original investment back, but they'll never recover the fake profits Bernie promised. And many victims have died waiting. So how do you protect yourself from the next Bernie Madoff? Here are the warning signs of a Ponzi scheme. If an investment promises steady double-digit returns year after year, regardless of market conditions, be skeptical. Real investments have ups and downs. Warning sign 2. Overly complex or secretive strategies. If the investment strategy sounds too complicated to understand, or if the manager won't explain it clearly, walk away. Bernie's split-strike conversion sounded sophisticated, but it was nonsense. Warning sign 3. Unregistered investments. Always verify that the investment and the person managing it are properly registered with the SEC. Warning sign 4. Difficulty withdrawing money. If you have trouble getting your money out, or if the manager pressures you to reinvest instead of withdrawing, that's a huge red flag. Warning sign 5. It's exclusive, or members only. Ponzi schemes create artificial exclusivity to make victims feel special. If someone says, "This opportunity isn't available to everyone," be suspicious. Warning sign 6. Heavy reliance on referrals. Legitimate investment firms advertise openly. Ponzi schemes spread through friend networks and social pressure. The most important lesson? If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Do your research, ask questions, demand transparency, and never invest money you can't afford to lose. Bernie Madoff died in federal prison on April 14, 2021. He was 82 years old. He'd served 11 years of his 150-year sentence. He never showed genuine remorse, never fully explained where all the money went, never helped recover additional funds for his victims. To the end, Bernie Madoff remained a fraud. This has been the Fraud Files. If you learned something today, subscribe for investigations into the world's biggest financial crimes. Next week, Top 10 Scams, targeting you right now, and how to protect yourself. What fraud should we investigate after that? Let me know in the comments. I'll see you Tuesday.